Ghost Tales.
Hey girlies and ghoulies, and welcome to the Girly Ghost Tales podcast. We're your hosts for the evening. I'm Leah.
And I'm Amber, and tonight we're unlocking the doors to haunted schools where the lights flicker in empty hallways, footsteps echo with no one in sight, and whispers drift from classrooms long abandoned. These are places where lessons were learned, lives were lived, and some spirits may have never graduated.
So sit back, grab some popcorn, get comfy, and
to the grave we go.
So tonight I want to take you all to El Paso, Texas, to a place locals call the Lady on the Hill. But this isn't just any high school. This is El Paso High School, a century-old building that many believe is the most haunted school in America. It's got everything: sealed off hallways, vanishing girls in yearbooks, phantom cheerleaders, and ghostly voices echoing through the halls. So turn off the lights, get comfy, and let's walk through the haunted halls of El Paso High. El Paso High opened its doors in 1916, designed by the famous architect Henry C. Trost. He was known for creating massive, elegant buildings, and this one was no exception. Perched high on a hill, the school overlooks the city, with its towering Greek-style columns, marble staircases, and echoing hallways. It feels more like an old courthouse, or maybe even a mausoleum, than a place where teenagers go to class. I love buildings like that. El Paso High School is widely considered one of the most haunted high schools in the United States. The school, nicknamed the Lady on the Hill, has a reputation for paranormal activity, including ghostly sightings, strange noises, and unexplained phenomena. From the very beginning, students and teachers whispered that El Paso High had a presence, and over the decades, the stories only grew. So we'll start with one of the most famous legends, the sealed hallway. Tucked away inside the school is a corridor that was mysteriously bricked up and closed off decades ago. Why? Nobody seems to know for sure. Some say a student died in that hallway and the grief was so overwhelming they closed it forever. Others think something darker happened there, something administrators didn't want anyone to see. But even though the hallway is sealed, students and teachers swear they can hear footsteps echoing on the other side. Walkers slamming, even voices muffled like they're trapped just behind the wall. Imagine staying late for practice, walking down a dimly lit hallway, and suddenly hearing footsteps coming from nowhere. Would you try to run or would you try to listen? I probably would try to listen.
I would too. I'd be
honestly.
like, hello?
I'm like too curious.
Yeah.
Not only does El Paso High School have a fallout shelter, but its basement once was used as an overflow morgue during World War II and in the wake of Spanish flu outbreak.
That's crazy.
Like, obviously it's haunted.
Yeah. A lot of
Like
death.
anywhere that used to be a morgue, especially during like World War II.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The morgue, housed near the school's tunnels, is also the site of many shadow entities, knocks, bangs, and unexplainable sounds and cries. During a very heavy snowstorm, a few teachers and students arrived before the school's closure announcement. Alone in the building, the group decided to explore the school, starting with the tunnels in the basement. They soon discovered sealed-off classrooms with their contents perfectly preserved inside, including students' belongings. To this day, no one knows why the classrooms were closed off in such haste, but it's evident that they wanted to keep something from escaping.
That's creepy.
I know. Like, what would happen where their stuff would still be in there?
Yeah.
Like, their personal belongings?
They just
Unless
left
they
it
had
all
to, like,
behind and
run
yeah.
out of there. But why?
And then just to like seal it up with all that stuff
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
That's
like,
really weird.
I know. Like, wouldn't they clear everything out and then seal it up?
That's what I would think.
That's
Like
just
reuse the stuff that's in there for other
Yeah.
rooms. That's weird.
that makes me think they are trying to cover something up, that they don't want like the school like the students to know what happened.
Yeah.
So this part of the story was written in 2021 by Monica, who attended this high school. She said, entities roam every single floor at the school, including the tunnels, Jones Stadium, and the buildings surrounding the school. I graduated from El Paso High School, and that building has a special place in my heart, but the truth is that the school is genuinely haunted. Throughout my 4 years at El Paso High, my friends and I would avoid walking the halls alone, especially the third floor, the auditorium, and the old gym by the stadium, because of the eerie vibes we'd get roaming the school. I recall coming across a misty fog near the mini library adjacent to the main library, seeing shadow figures and hearing noises and voices down hallways when no one was around. Needless to say, visiting the bathroom alone was an absolute no-no. Spine-chilling accounts include light switching on and off, apparitions walking up and down the hallways, sounds of rallies coming from the auditorium, and many more paranormal activities occurring at the old gym and tunnels at the school. There have also been reports of slime on walls and mists, just like I saw that one day in the library. There's even photographic evidence of a ghost that appeared in a 1985 yearbook. So we're going to talk about the ghost girl in the yearbook. This is so creepy. In the 1980s, the school printed a yearbook photo of a group of students, but when people flipped through the pages, they noticed something chilling. Standing among the students was a girl that no one recognized. She hadn't been there when the photo was taken. The photographer swore the spot was empty. Teachers couldn't identify her, students didn't know her, and yet there she was, perfectly clear, standing with the others, her expression unreadable. Copies of that yearbook supposedly vanished quickly, and to this day no one knows who the Phantom Girl was. According to the school's haunted lore, in 1922 a teenage girl committed suicide by slitting her wrists and throwing herself off of one of the school's balconies. Not only have students reportedly seen someone near the new blocked off hallway and stairwell that leads to the balcony, but over the years have claimed to see someone walk through the hallway onto the balcony and take a leap only to see her disappear. Ghost Girl is just one of the most active ghosts at the school and is usually photographed standing or looking out the windows of the 100-plus-year-old high school. So I'll show you the yearbook photo that they're talking about, and according to the staff, the girl did not appear in the original negative of the photo, but she did once it was developed.
Oh.
And for people watching on YouTube, we'll insert the picture, but like, so
Oh.
there's like the full picture. Like, she's the only one who looks blurry, and like her face is like indistinguishable.
Yeah, it is weird though too that there's like nobody else in the rest of the route.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Like, why would that have been empty
Yeah.
originally?
I feel like it would have been easier to say it's fake if there were more people next to her, but it just like ends after her. So
I
like
know. What, like, it looks
it
like
looks
there's something on her
creepy.
face, like
She
a
looks like someone's
mask,
wearing a
kinda.
mask. Yeah.
She kind of looks like the girl from like The Exorcist, like Reagan.
Kind of. Yeah.
That's scary. So I have a couple more pictures that people have caught of this ghost girl. So first, this one was sent in by the current golf coach at El Paso High School, taken when kids hung out after school near the principal's office when the staff was already gone for the day. The face looking out the window looks eerily similar to that of the ghostly apparition from the yearbook. So here's this picture, and then I'll like zoom in. That's definitely
Oh
a
yeah,
face.
definitely. You
And
can see eyes and like
mm-hmm,
nose, mouth.
yeah, like the darker parts of it, it's
Yeah,
like clearly a face.
for sure.
And I feel like that does not look photoshopped to me.
No.
The second one was taken in the summer of 2021, and it just features a local El Paso high school student posing in front of the school. But if you look closely, the image in the bottom mid right also looks hauntingly like Ghost Girl. So he's blurred out, and then
Ooh. It kind of looks like dark hair, a dress, maybe like the
mm-hmm,
sleeve. I don't
yeah,
necessarily see like a face or anything. It looks like maybe
no,
it's the back, like
but
she's
it
walking
definitely
away.
looks like a figure.
Yeah.
Like the white is so bright in
Mm-hmm.
all of the pictures.
I feel like, yeah, you can't really say that's like a smudge or anything when you
No.
can see like there's clearly hair and
Mm-hmm.
that literally looks like a shoulder of like a sleeve on a
Yeah,
shirt
I know. It's
or
so
dress or.
creepy. And then this third one was taken during graduation at El Paso High School about 15 years ago and shows the creepy image of Ghost Girl in the right window, so right next to the guy with the short sleeve green shirt on. It also looks like there's like orbs floating around all throughout the picture. It could be because of like the flash or from the camera being dirty, but it just looks weird.
Oh yeah.
And
Is that a
then
baby? Is that what?
and then here's
Oh yeah.
like it looks like the same face in all of the
Yeah.
pictures, just in different like positions.
That's
And none of them
creepy.
look like Photoshop. They all look
No.
like I don't know, they just all look the same too.
Absolutely.
And then this last one is probably the creepiest one. It's one El Pasoan. I don't even know how to pronounce that. El Pasoan poses.
Pasoin.
Yeah, I don't know. Outside the school, Ghost Girl is striking a pose in one of the windows, mimicking the girl across the street, head tilt included. So this one was taken in 2020. So there's her, and then there she is up in the
Oh,
window.
it's giving bent neck lady.
Mm-hmm. Like her head literally looks
Yeah.
tilted like that, like
Oh, I don't
the
like it.
same way hers is facing. It literally looks like she's like, oh, hey.
Hey. Oh, I want to get in this pic.
I know. Like, I wonder if she's in there, like, oh my God, they're taking a picture. I gotta hurry, get to
Yeah.
the
Gotta get to
window.
the window.
Like, she likes being in them because I
Yeah.
feel like it's so rare for like ghosts to be caught on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the fact that all these people have captured her and she looks the same in all of the
Yeah.
photos.
Yeah, that one literally looks like she's wearing a white dress, like
Mm-hmm.
a t-shirt dress.
Yeah. So I don't know. It seems like maybe she likes the lore and the attention, and
Yeah.
she's like, oh, everybody likes me and
She's
wants
just
me to
like
be
a
in their picture.
she's just a teenage girl who
That
likes
would
to
be
get her
me as
picture
a
taken.
ghost.
Yeah. I'd be in the back.
Literally, that's what I'd be doing, like rushing to the window, like to get in their picture.
Photobomb. Oh, bunny ears. Oh. No, I'd actually be like flipping off the camera. But
I know. I would like be one of those ghosts that's just like crazy, like showing up as like orbs or like in the
yeah.
background of pictures, making stuff like rattle and like
Uh-huh.
banging walls and stuff.
I would make my presence known.
I know, me too. So El Paso High doesn't just have one ghost story, it's overflowing with them. In the auditorium, teachers and students have reported hearing children laughing when the auditorium is empty, and sometimes a woman crying softly in the dark. In the basement beneath the school are old tunnels built into the hill. Some say they connect to other buildings in the city. Down there, people have seen shadowy figures moving in the dark and felt sudden cold spots that chill you to the bone. The bleachers on the football field, late at night, witnesses claim to see a cheerleader in an old fashioned uniform. She stands in the bleachers cheering silently, but when anyone approaches, she vanishes. In the hallways, custodians working after hours often hear lockers banging and basketballs bouncing in the gym, even though the lights are off and the doors are locked. And then there's the most common sighting, a girl in a white dress.
Classic.
She appears in classrooms, hallways, sometimes even at windows looking out into the night. Some students say she stares right at them before fading into nothing. So, the old gym at the high school, the story goes that a few students and their coach back in the 80s started basketball practice around 6 p.m. when soon after two heavy access doors violently opened. Thinking that the wind had somehow caused the disturbance, they dragged a wooden bench over to keep it closed. The heavy bench flew across the room a few minutes later, and the doors slammed wide open once again.
Oh my
The
gosh.
group ran out as fast as they could and never looked back.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I want to like see one of the teachers there saying, like, yeah, that happened. I
Yeah.
watched it happen.
Oh.
So, what's behind all of this? Some believe the school is haunted by students who tragically died there, accidents, suicides, even mysterious deaths tied to construction of the building. Others point to the land itself. El Paso sits right on the border of turbulent history. The Mexican Revolution spilled into the city, and the school is near old battlefields and cemeteries. Maybe the lady on the hill was built on ground already charged with restless energy. Of course, skeptics argue that the school's architecture creates the perfect setting for ghost stories. Long, echoing hallways, dim lighting, and strange acoustics can play tricks on the mind. But how do you explain the yearbook photo, or the phantom cheerleader, or the bricked up hallway where footsteps still walk even though no one's inside? El Paso High School isn't just a school, it's a monument, a massive, mysterious building that has stood for over 100 years. But ask anyone who spent time there, and they'll tell you it's more than just history echoing in those halls. Something else lingers, something unseen. So the next time you hear a story about a haunted school, remember the lady on the hill and ask yourself, would you dare walk those hallways alone at night? I want to.
Mhm.
Like, I want to go in there
That's
really
so
bad.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Schools in general just kind of like at night especially
Mm-hmm.
just give like an eerie vibe.
I
Even
know.
sometimes during the day, like
Yeah.
when you'd be in the hall by yourself, like
Yeah.
going to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah,
like
I think
eerie.
that too. Like, so many people have been in and out of there,
Mhm.
like their energies and like a bunch of like emotions and stuff
Oh
too,
yeah,
like
especially like
teenagers.
middle school, high
Yeah.
school. Yeah.
And most schools are like old,
Yeah.
so they've been there for a long time. But yeah, I think especially having a morgue underneath your
Absolutely
school
is
and like on a battlefield during
mm,
World War II.
grounds for a haunting.
That's crazy. I know, that just goes back to like, why do people build things on top of
Yeah.
like cemeteries, places a bunch of people have died, like morgues? I would be so scared if I, like during high school, if I knew my high school was on top of where a morgue used to be.
Yeah.
But like now, I wish I was back in high
I know
school
I'm
so
like
I could
that would
go
kind of been
there.
cool.
Like, imagine being able to go to high school and like it's just haunted and you can
Yeah.
like bring like your ghost hunting stuff with or like see shadow figures. Like, that would
Yes.
be so cool. I
Just
want
bring your
to
REM pod
go
to
there.
class.
Yeah, that would be me literally. And like just the voice, setting the voice recorder on my
Mm.
desk every hour. I want to go there and take a picture outside of it and see
See
if
if you
she is in
yeah.
the window in the
Oh,
background.
that'd be so cool.
I used to always search on Google as a kid, real ghost caught on camera,
Oh,
like
same.
all
Like
the time.
YouTube watching all those videos and
Mhm.
now they have the like paranormal caught on camera or
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
show
I
on
watch that
Travel
one all the
Channel.
time too. It's
Yeah.
so good. So I do have one Reddit story from
Ooh.
someone who graduated from El Paso High School in 2011, and this is from the Demon's Den, titled El Paso High School Ghost. I graduated from EPHS in 2011 and only went back when my little brother graduated. What I saw and experienced at that school made me never want to return. For reference, the school is very old. It was built in 1916 and was even used as a makeshift morgue for those affected by the Spanish flu outbreak. The morgue is in the basement of the building under the theater classroom. The basement was mostly closed off with the exception of a boiler room and storage room. There's also these long pathways with short ceilings that lead to closed off rooms. One of the rooms is a perfectly preserved classroom that was abandoned, no one knows why. If you can get a light through, you can see notebooks, lunch boxes, pencils, all of that on the desks. It's just like everyone got up and left.
That's so weird.
So creepy and like unsettling.
Mhm.
Like lunches and like,
Yeah, just like why did
mm-hmm.
why?
With all that negative energy, it's bound to bubble up, and it has. Teachers and faculty would tell us stories of feeling cold and seeing things that weren't there. It sounded like a load of BS at first, but the school has photographic evidence of its ghost. There's stories of suicide, tragic accidents, and even people using a Ouija board in the basement. I saw something one day that made me believe it all. I was a theater kid back then. I used to get all kinds of crap for not being in football because I was 6'7", but whatever. The theater is where I like to be. When I was a senior, I had a lot of free classes, so I spent most of my time in the theater or the theater classroom. I even ate lunch on the stage most days. Sometimes I had a few friends join me, but I was alone a lot of the time, mostly by choice. Or one day at lunch, I went into the theater, turned on the lights, pulled out my mangled lunch from my backpack, and started eating. I didn't have mobile data at the time, and I didn't know what the school Wi Fi password was, so I was listening to music on my iPod Touch. As soon as a song ends, I hear a loud crash above me that sounds like someone fell over with a box of silverware. I look up at the catwalk of the theater and see someone looking down at me. I don't know who they are, so I wave and ask if they're okay. No response. I stand up and ask louder, but still no response. This person looks like they're right on the edge of the catwalk, too, like their torso is fully visible. They're wearing this dress that looks like something you'd wear to prom in the 80s. It's like poofy. I take a breath, start to ask again, but what happened made me sprint out of that theater. This person fades into nothing, like they just became less and less visible until they weren't there anymore. A cold sweat hit me, my armpits just felt wet, and I farted.
Too much going on.
I grabbed my backpack and ran my giant ass out of that theater. I tried telling my friends what happened, but they just laughed and told me to shut up. I only ever went back into that theater with someone with me, and even then, I had chills and always felt like I was being watched. So I feel like that's definitely the girl in that white dress.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is just the picture of the high school from like the view from like their football field and bleachers, but it does look very like
Oh wow.
cathedral like
Yeah, that looks
big and like
a
pretty.
it should be a college.
I know.
That
Like
looks
it's
so
huge.
cool. I love it.
I know, me too.
I was thinking though, I didn't even think about the Spanish flu in that one picture where she looks like she's wearing a mask.
Oh
I think
yeah.
they wore masks for
Like a
that
face
back
mask
then.
to not get sick. I
Yeah.
wonder, oh my gosh, what if that's how she died?
Oh, that'd be so sad. Or if there's like two separate ghosts, because if it's the one
Mm-hmm.
that,
That's what I was like wondering because I kept reading things and I was like, is the lady in white separate from the girl in the yearbook? And
yeah,
like they're two different ghosts. And I also couldn't find like a story about people playing a Ouija board in the basement. But if people did that, I feel like that definitely
that
did
didn't
not
help.
help anything.
Oh,
Yeah, either way, I want to go there. So
yeah,
if we ever go to Texas, we need
absolutely.
to
Add
take a
that to the
picture.
list.
Yeah. I know. I wonder if you can like go inside of it and like look around.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say probably. I don't know.
We could be like, oh, we might want to send our kids
Yeah,
to your school. Can
I'm
we tour it?
definitely old enough to have a high
Yeah.
schooler.
Or just pretend we're in high school.
Yeah. I did the University of St. Andrews. The University of St. Andrews, founded in 1413, holds the title.
Jeez.
I know.
Oh my God.
Holds the title of Scotland's oldest university and the third oldest in the English speaking world. Nestled in the small coastal town of St. Andrews on the eastern shore of Fife, the university began as a religious institute under papal, which is the office or authority of the Pope. It quickly grew into a beacon of higher learning, theology, and philosophy. But St. Andrews is more than just a prestigious academic center. Its roots are seeped in centuries of religious conflict, political upheaval, and tragic human stories. These turbulent times left scars not just in history books, but in the very stones of its buildings. For some, those scars never healed, and their restless spirits are said to still linger. Walking through St. Andrews today, visitors encounter cobblestone streets, medieval ruins, and Gothic chapels, all overlooking the cold waters of the North Sea. It is an atmosphere tailor-made for ghost stories. Unlike many university ghost tales that come from rumor and legend, St. Andrews has centuries of documented tragedies, executions, and discoveries to back up its chilling reputation. So there's a few different spirits there. So the first one is the Cathedral and the White Lady. So the ruins of St. Andrew's Cathedral dominate the landscape. Once the largest church ever built in Scotland, construction began in the 12th century, and for centuries it stood as the heart of Scottish Catholicism. But after the Reformation in 1560, the cathedral was abandoned and fell into ruin. Its broken towers and crumbling walls now attract tourists, scholars, and ghost hunters alike. Among the cathedral's most famous haunting is the White Lady. The White Lady is often described as a tall, elegant figure dressed in flowing white robes with long black hair. She is said to appear gliding silently through the cathedral grounds, especially around the haunted tower and parapet walk. Also, parapet. What is this? Fourth line?
I know, literally, I was just gonna say that. And also, why is it always like a lady in like
In
a white gown and like long
always.
black hair?
It's always got to be the creepiest.
Mm-hmm.
Two competing stories explain her origins. One claims she was a lady in waiting for Mary, Queen of Scots. When her lover was executed for treason, she was consumed by grief. She died broken-hearted, and her soul is trapped endlessly searching for the man she lost. Another version says she was a young woman from a noble family, disgraced by an affair. To preserve the family's honor, she was locked alive inside the cathedral walls. Her ghost now wanders, weeping for her lost life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Which this next part will almost kind of give credit to that second one. So in 1868, masons repairing the cathedral discovered a sealed chamber inside one of the towers. Within it were several coffins. One in particular drew attention. Inside lay the remarkably preserved body of a woman dressed in white. Shortly after this discovery, sightings of the White Lady became more frequent, leading many to believe her spirit had been disturbed by the opening of her tomb.
Oh my gosh.
That would be so creepy to find that and then also to
Yeah.
open them.
Yeah, imagine being the person that opened it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Churches in general, like anything like St. Andrew's, St. Joseph, like
Yeah.
anything like that, I'm just like, oh, creepy.
Catholicism in
Yeah.
general, I feel like is
just things
the
every time I like hear anything like that, I'm just like the nun. Like the
but
scary movie,
literally the nun. Ugh.
Oh, so creepy.
So there's a story, one sighting, I should say. Fishermen in the 1800s reported seeing a glowing figure moving through the locked cathedral gates at night. In modern times, students claim to see her along the parapet, often just before storms. Some describe her as so lifelike they mistook her for another visitor until she vanished before their eyes. The White Lady remains one of Scotland's most enduring ghost legends, tied not just to folklore, but to a very real historical discovery. And then we have St. Rule's Tower and the Monk. Older even than the cathedral, St. Rule's Tower was built in the 11th century as a watchtower and bell tower, rising above the surrounding ruins. It offers a sweeping view of the town and the sea, but those who climb its narrow spiral stairs sometimes find themselves not alone. Witnesses report seeing a shadowy figure of a monk in dark robes, silently pacing the stairwell or standing watch on the tower's balcony. He is believed to be one of the Augustinian canons who once lived at the cathedral. When the Reformation came, many monks were expelled, some beaten or executed for their loyalty to Rome. It is said that this particular monk stayed behind, either in defense or in duty, and continues to guard the sacred site even in death. Students and tourists climbing the tower often report feeling a cold hand brushing against them in the narrow stairwell. A student who spent the night working in the King James Library not far from the tower reported the unmistakable sensation of someone kneeling in prayer behind him. When they turned, the room was empty, but the feeling of being watched lingered until dawn. Ghost tours often cite sudden drops in temperature around the tower's base, unexplained even in mild weather. Unlike the White Lady, who exudes sorrow, the monk's presence is described as solemn, but protective, more guardian than threat. And then we've got the tragedy of David Murray. Not all of St. Andrew's ghosts are tied to medieval ruins. Some come from the university itself. In 1707, David Murray, the Postmaster General of St. Andrews, hung himself inside what is now the King James Library. At the time, suicide was considered both a crime and a sin, and Murray was denied a Christian burial. Instead, his body was embalmed and displayed in a glass-fronted case within the library as a warning to others. To die in disgrace and to be put on public display in such a humiliating manner was seen as fate worse than death itself. Many believe Murray's spirit was condemned to linger in the library forever, tied to the site of his death and punishment. When I was reading this to Matt, I was like, wait a minute, I did not look farther into that like I should have. Like, is the body still there? So I looked and I only found one article about it, and it says, for many years the poor postie hung in his box in the library. He was still in there in 1889 when an article about the incident was published in the university's news sheet. Although by then he had been placed in a cupboard rather than in full view.
That's in a cupboard? I'm
Yeah.
picturing like a kitchen
I know,
cupboard,
me too.
like he's smushed
He's
in
just
there. Oh, but either way, like, why?
Yeah. It was said that one professor had some years earlier been rebuffed by the Senatus in an attempt to have the remains discreetly interred? I can't read. But there is no record of any such discussion in the minutes. By 1941, the box and skeleton were in the loft above the top of the staircase on which the poor man reportedly had ended his days. It was removed on the instruction of the university librarian and Mr. J.B. Salmond, a member of the university court. The skeleton was passed to the professor of anatomy, who, having first studied the method of articulation used in the early 18th century, arranged for the proper disposal of the bones. The box, which at the time was reckoned to be of 19th century date, presumably having been replaced at some point, was destroyed. The inscription was said to have been handed over to the University Museum. What happened to it is not known, however, since it no longer appears to exist within the collection, and all that remains is a poor photographic copy which was made at an unknown date. So this inscription that was on the box, or around the box, it says, "You behold the remains of an unfortunate and infamous man, once the messenger of the University of St. Andrews, and thereafter never to be named for all time to come. Incensed at his monstrous action, at his monstrous actions, in that he laid wicked hands upon himself and sought death by hanging, the sacred university, desiring to obtain the greatest advantage from one who had so criminally destroyed himself, resolved first that his corpse should be publicly submitted to the dissecting knife, then that his bones should be articulated into a skeleton. On the 25th January in the year 1707 of the Christian era, employing for that purpose the zealous services of one who at the time was pharmacological surgeon and botanist of the Dundee Society, but now is a doctor of medicine of the Royal Society, Patrick Blair." That's clearly an old.
I know, I'm like,
I can't even
what?
Pretty much what it sounds like is, well, they're berating him for killing himself,
Mm-hmm.
and that his punishment is he's supposed to be dissected and then made into a skeleton, which is.
But that's just like crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like,
So
that's
weird.
so weird and crazy.
Yeah.
And creepy.
So he did eventually get a proper burial in.
I'd be so pissed if I was him.
Yeah, somewhere after 1941 he got a proper burial.
At least he got that.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how, that's how you create a haunting.
Mm-hmm. The poor guy was obviously in pain in life.
Yeah, and then just to make it worse and be like, oh, he's a monster.
Yeah.
We need to dissect him and
display his bones for all to see and judge him.
Crazy. That's like a cult.
Yeah.
Literally, cult behavior.
That was the Christian era, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So some students studying late at night have described hearing footsteps on the stairs, even when the building was locked and empty. Others recall sudden icy drafts moving across the room, as if someone had walked by. Books have been known to fall from shelves, always near the site of Murray's death. The King James Library is still in use today, and many avoid its upper levels at night, fearing an encounter with the restless postmaster. And I have one more. So, the curse of Patrick Hamilton. Perhaps the most chilling story is that of Patrick Hamilton, a Protestant reformer and one of the earliest martyrs. A martyr is a person who is killed because of their religious or other beliefs. Of the Scottish Reformation. In 1528, at just 24 years old, Hamilton was condemned for heresy, which is belief or opinion contrary to orthodox religious belief, especially Christian belief.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's scary.
He was burned alive at the stake in front of St. Salvator's Chapel, right on university grounds. Hamilton's execution was especially gruesome. Historical accounts say the fire burned slowly and inefficiently, taking 6 long hours to kill him.
Imagine the smell
I know.
of a burning body for
Ugh.
6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how is that normal, though? Like, if you
Yeah.
don't believe in what they believe in, they kill you and burn you alive. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's how you can say that America became America, because we didn't like that anymore.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know. I just feel like churches are like cults.
Witnesses wrote that his face twisted in pain as he cried out, condemning his persecutors. His initials PH mark the spot on the cobblestones where he was executed. Over the centuries, a superstition grew that anyone who stepped on those initials would be cursed to fail their exams. The only way to lift the curse, legend says, is to take part in the university's tradition of the May dip, plunging into the freezing North Sea at dawn on May Day.
Like, that's what the ghost wants.
I-
It's like, I'm gonna make you fail if you don't jump into the
Yeah,
water.
it was probably something that the university just like took and ran with, and they were like, "Hey, everybody,
Sounds
do
like
this."
something that like some high schoolers made up.
Yeah. Some say Hamilton's face appears scorched into the chapel wall, a permanent mark of his suffering. On quiet nights, passerbys claim to hear faint whispers or cries from the site of his burning. Many students avoid stepping on the cobblestones entirely, fearful of his lingering curse. The hauntings of St. Andrew's are not just folklore, they are woven into the fabric of the town's history. The combination of religious conflict during the Reformation, martyrdom and executions, romantic tragedies, and the university's long academic traditions all contribute to an atmosphere where the past never truly feels gone. Unlike modern urban legends, these stories are rooted in very real historical events: a preserved body in a cathedral, a man's suicide punished with public display, a martyr burned alive at the chapel. These tragedies left behind emotional energy that, for many, still manifests today. The University of St. Andrews is not just Scotland's oldest seat of learning, it is a place where history and the supernatural collide. The White Lady roams the cathedral ruins in eternal grief. A monk stands guard at St. Rule's Tower. David Murray wanders the King James Library, punished beyond death, and Patrick Hamilton's fiery martyrdom still casts a shadow on the cobblestones of St. Salvator's Chapel. For over 6 centuries, scholars, clergy, and students have passed through these halls, and for just as long, the ghosts of St. Andrews have remained, whispering reminders of the town's dark past. The lesson is clear. At St. Andrews, history isn't just studied, it lingers, it watches, and sometimes it walks among the living. And then I have some pictures of it.
It's so creepy.
I know. So this
It's
that's
even
the
creepy.
school.
Oh, it's so pretty though.
I know. And then this is the chapel ruins, and then you can see like all the
That looks
graves.
so creepy.
So that's the chapel, but then this is like that tower.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like right next to each other. But yeah, look
Why
at how
is
many.
this like how I pictured Fourth Wing? Like
Yeah.
when they're talking about like the parapet.
Yeah. This is the
Ooh, that looks like
library.
a church.
Yeah,
With, like the wood in
it does.
and stuff.
And this is the chapel and the PH, and then that was I already forgot his name. David
Murray.
Nope. That guy.
Oh.
Hamilton.
Peter Hamilton?
Something Hamilton. What is his name? How did I already forget? This was the last story. Patrick Hamilton.
Patrick.
So yeah, Patrick Hamilton, where he died, I guess. Just right there. Ugh. But I thought it was so cool because you can like see the ocean, the rest of the town.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
I would not want to go there. Like I would.
I would.
I want to go there. I wouldn't want to be going there for like
class and stuff. Yeah, like imagine
Mhm.
living. I guess I don't know necessarily if they have like a dorm situation. I assume.
Oh my gosh,
But
imagine. Like I feel like I would be way too scared.
yeah,
But also I would be like, well, the ghosts will be able to tell that I'm good and they'll like me. So
yeah.
like, that's like already how I think.
That's how I feel about animals too.
Yeah,
I'm like,
me too.
They can tell that I'm a good person. I just
Like
want to
a
give them
wild
love.
animal. I'm like, they wouldn't attack me.
No,
They would know that I'm nice.
Yeah, a bear would definitely let me hug it.
I know, that's literally how my mentality is too. Also in Scotland, one of the places like on my list for where I want to go for haunted places is the I don't even know how to pronounce it. Edinburgh Castle.
Yeah.
It says that there's underground tunnels and that a piper was like died down there and that he haunts it, and there's a headless drummer and a ghostly dog in the castle's dog cemetery, and then like French and colonial prisoners. And look at the castle.
Oh, that picture makes it look so eerie.
I want to go there so bad.
That looks so cool.
Like
that looks
literally
so
looks
cool.
like a horror movie.
Yeah, that makes me think of like Dracula or something.
Yeah.
I need to look up.
So we need to go to Scotland too.
Yes.
We have like so many different places, different states and like countries of places to go.
I know.
But we're gonna be able to do it one day. I'm manifesting it.
Thanks, girlies and ghoulies, for joining us. Come back next week for stories about Ouija board hauntings.
Make sure to follow our socials linked in the show notes and email us your ghost stories and anything paranormal at girlyghosttales@gmail.com.
If you want episodes 1 week early, live ghost hunts, Tarot Tuesdays, monthly giveaways, and exclusive bonus content, join us on Patreon for $5 a month. New episode release every Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
So until next time, and remember, if you hear a whisper in the dark, it's probably just us.
But just in case, keep your lights on, your doors locked. Remember, the veil is always thinner than you think.
Good night.
Good night.
Girly Ghost.